All right, so we're going to actually go into something a little bit more fun. We've got a little game lined up for you. Some of these people don't even know that they're going to be up here. It could be you. We've got two of our lead developers from Camtasia Studio. Their combined experience at TechSmith is like 100 years. They have worked on Camtasia Studio, Snag It for Mac, Camtasia for Mac, and now this new thing that we're not even going to talk about. Right? And I'm sure there's even other things. And if you want a riveting 17-hour session about what codecs are and how they affect your life, we've got Dave O'Rourke. And if you want any opinion unfiltered and straight, talk to Paul Midland. He will tell you anything that he feels. So they knew they were coming into this, but we're going to pull up a couple different people because you can't just have 2 chumps. We need 5 chumps. So next our chump's going to be, she doesn't know that this is coming. She's probably going to be petrified. But we need the sweet-talking, MakerBot, geek, craft making, will make delicious, the best brownies I've ever eaten. Betsy Weber, Stump the Chump. Come on, Betsy. So Betsy's been product manager for Camtasia Studio, has been at TechSmith for a long time. But guess what? We can't just have TechSmith people, right? Because you just have a chair. Anyway, we're going to get microphones for you. So not only do we have, you guys are all great, right? Some of you are probably like, oh no, please don't pick me. I hope he doesn't remember my name. But we have some Screencast nominees in the audience. So that means out of 12 videos, out of 100 to 150 videos, we had people that come in the top 15. We have a couple people here, and some of them, they're looking, but we're gonna go deep, almost getting the Google Fiber. Scott Skybell, come on, Scott, you are an expert, come on down. I'm gonna get paid back for this, I know. All right, so I need one more person. But, what fun would it be if we just had lead developers, evangelists, outside experts? You know what's really fun is when you can call up executives. Trisha! Trisha Broderick, come on down. So Trisha is pretty fantastic. Trisha does a lot of things at TechSmith. She leads us in a lot of ways, but we're grateful because she's a great sponsor for Screencast Camp. We're not going to make this...
Great sport.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I won't see you next year at Screencast Camp. I'll be looking for future employment. And my car is going to get keyed, I'm pretty sure. Egg, yeah. So, but here's the thing about Stump the Chump. So this is not like a quiz show where I'm going to ask them questions and they're going to answer. What we're going to do is, this is a chance for you guys to ask questions about kind of pretty much anything that you want. So you've got a technical question. Now we're going to put some time limits on it, right? Because, like I said, for 17 hours, we could probably talk about 17 is a good number, codecs?
I could go longer than that.
So we're going to start with that, and then if you guys start to run out of questions, we will go and I'm sure I can come up with something embarrassing. Probably mostly embarrass. Yeah, I'll probably dance, embarrass myself mostly. So, but this is a chance for you guys to ask questions. Anything you can ask about TechSmith. We do reserve the right to, since we're streaming live, if it's something that we really don't want to disclose, we will play our secret card and say no. But we're pretty limited. So, are you guys ready? Let's give it a hand for the Chumps. That's going to have a really nice acronym and a very nice thank you letter to Trisha Broderick and Bill Hamilton. All right, we've got our first one. So you guys should have microphones around here. You can share. I think we have another microphone. Sweet.
One just for Betsy. Great.
So when you do this, if you will make sure you address your question to somebody, or if you don't know who to address it to, go ahead and ask. Robert.
I have a question for Dave.
Okay.
What was the biggest challenge in developing software over the years?
Oh boy, that is a tough question. Well, I was talking with somebody earlier about internationalization and developing for languages that I don't even speak. That was a big challenge. So I was learning all about that. But I think even more than that, as we've evolved Camtasia Studio, and I've been here since 2000. So that was before we even called it Camtasia Studio. It was Camtasia before that. And so as we've continued to add features, the probably the difficult part is adding new features without making it seem more complicated. So we've always focused a lot on the initial user experience. We actually talk about that enough around here to call it IUE. And what we mean by that is, what is the experience from the time you even search, to getting the product, to your first use of it and that trial period. What happens? What are the aha moments? Where are the stumbling blocks? And as we've added more and more and more features and solved more and more problems, it's increasingly hard to continue to solve those problems and maintain a streamlined, easy-to-use user interface that evolves with you and grows with you. So we try to use things like progressive disclosure, start simple, and then as you have the need for more features, you discover more parts of the product. So it's really a challenge, not just for me, but especially for our UX designers, and they do a fantastic job here. We have really talented people, and I'd say probably even more than the internationalization of the software, that's probably the hardest part of a product that's been around as long as Camtasia.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Dave. Let's go on. Any other questions you want to ask of the panel? Dan Nunez. Watch out.
All right. No, this is pretty mundane. Can anyone account for the lineage of the name Camtasia? Just curious.
Betsy, you were the. We have
I started in 2000, but Camtasia actually launched in 1999. So I'm not the OG product manager for Camtasia. But the story I've been told is they were naming. If you've ever named a product or a feature, it is incredibly difficult. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. And then especially to find something that hasn't ever been used before. So. Do you know how this goes? I think it was Dean Craven, who's our CTO, who came up with it, and it was sort of a playoff of Fantasia, right? The Disney movie way back in the day, but with camera. Is there anything more? I mean, I think we should find out a list of rejected names.
I mean, that was all those methods. That or Hootie and the Blowfish.
Right, which was already taken. But TechSmith, for example, is a playoff of a blacksmith. So instead of forging iron, we forge tech. So and then the forge. Get it? It all comes together.
Big circles.
Hey, whoa, right. So I think they locked themselves in a room until they came up with something.
All right, next question.
In the same vein, what about some project names before they became actual products? What were the project names?
Trish, you can answer that too for some, right?
We've done for Relay, Camtasia Relay was Cayenne, and so for a long time everything is hot sauce everywhere. Just we did hot sauce everywhere, but that was one of our code names for Relay.
Why?
That was pre-me, so I actually don't know.
We pick these things out
Chump, right there.
We pick these things out of nowhere. For instance, Jing before that was Arcturus, which is like it was the name of a star, but it was always spelled incorrectly, so that didn't work out well. Camtasia 8 was the Ocho. You guys actually had a whole meeting dedicated just to picking out the code name, so everybody would use that. They had a whole party. There were snacks. But we failed before as well. So the Snag at 7, we set out, we're like, yeah, we need a cool code name. And we came up with one. And it was like around the time of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. And so we came up with just Arnold, like pronounced that way. Like you had to actually say it like that. And when you come up with a stupid code name, no one uses it.
So everyone just said snag at 7, and no one went around going, "Oh, how are things coming along on?" What was that? How's snag at 7 coming?
I can actually add one. There was a product that we don't have anymore called UserView. That was called Astoria, right? That was a usability product. So there's.
That's because the lead developer on that loved the Goonies more than anything else, and that's where that was filmed.
Perfect. All right, next questions. Don't forget you got Scott up there. He's probably feeling these are all TechSmith questions. I can't answer this. Come on, there's got to be a question. Oh, awesome. Shannon.
No, I'll be kind. I'll get him tomorrow when we sit through that Screencast thing together. This is for Betsy. I'm going to follow the instructions on our name tags. Why sporks? And where can I get one?
Well, we have a giant spork over here in the corner. Would you like to? It's our giant snow spork. So I travel a bit for my job, and I go to events, and sometimes people would like me to bring them swag, and carrying 50 T-shirts in your luggage with room for your own clothing sometimes got a little daunting, and then you'd never bring the right size, and didn't fit in my purse or anything. So I was going through ThinkGeek, which is an incredibly cool nerd catalog. I recommend it if you have nerds and geeks in your life. ThinkGeek.com. Check it out. ThinkGeek.com. Fantastic.
Thank you for the sponsorship,
science
ThinkGeek.
nerd gifts. And I was like, oh, they have titanium sporks. I travel a lot. This seems useful. So I got a couple, and I gave some to friends, and their reactions were like, oh, this is so cool. And then on the road, I was like, this is pretty handy, and it's always in my purse. So I thought, there are no sizes to this. Titanium's pretty light. Well, let's see if we get these branded. So
what does TSA say when you walk in with all these metal
I do.
sports?
So what does TSA say is the question?
Nothing. So I'll go on. I'll have a big Ziploc bag of like 50 sporks, and they don't even like, huh, that's weird. Like, why? What's going on with this? Not a word. Like, come on through. So
You don't
I
have
haven't
the
tried
face
flying
of a
with this
terrorist,
one.
though. Like
I have been to international.
Dan Nunes and I know because
Yeah.
I once grew out a beard to here, and I got randomly screened at the airport a lot.
Right. So flying with that spork, probably not going to work, but the regular sporks is fine. And one year, maybe 2 years ago, a big snowstorm was coming into Michigan. Go figure. So I was like, what can we do? We're closing the office early. What can we do for fun? It was like, we need a giant spork. So we ran out to Home Depot and cobbled together this giant spork, stuck it outside my office with one of our studio lights on it, and set a camera on it. And it was a giant snow spork, and we put a measuring stick on it, and people could tune in on the blog and see, how high. And people were going to capture it and come to our offices, but it's still standing, so.
If I remember correctly, that snowstorm was not really a snowstorm, so we were just
No.
looking at a spork the whole time. It was
Right. Yeah, it was below the knees. I mean, it was
below-
not
it
the
was-
epic
it wasn't
snowstorm, but
what it was made
um,
out to be.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So sporks are useful like our software, right? They're useful like Snag and Camtasia, so.
All right.
Sporks.
Thanks for the sporks answer. Next. Oh, we got a question over here.
I don't know if this is the same question or a two-part question. What's the coolest thing you've ever seen anyone ever do with one of your products, or what's the most unusual thing you've ever seen them do with it?
I'm not sure. This might not be in the spirit of what you're asking, but it's definitely registers in my mind. Occasionally, we will have people send out something through all staff of when they see a use of one of our products and what it did. And a teacher was actually using Chump for her autistic children in her class. And she had sent a letter in, and it was just highlighting how she was able to communicate with her students. And I actually sat at my desk and tears were rolling down my face because it was just the most beautiful thing that I had ever seen in terms of actually that connection and that bond and what that meant. So for me, I'm not sure it was the coolest thing actually application-wise on the tool, but in terms of touching and impactful, that was probably the moment for me.
I've seen some. I never cease to be amazed at what people are using it for. Things I would have never ever thought of. So we heard from a NASCAR driver that many people might know of. but he was using Camtasia in the pit to record the systems going on there, so he could archive basically this one-time event that was happening and go back and review it later. I've heard from distilleries using it in their production process. I wanted to product swap them, but yeah, I didn't.
There was the farmers with
yes,
milking
I was gonna
cows.
say, dairy. Yeah, we heard from a dairy farmer who was using it in milk production to see, analyze the milk production. So.
I've heard of it being products being used in places where I'd rather they weren't. So, like, somebody was doing medical imaging scans, or like, well, and then I would just snag it, and then I use that to the doctors. I'm like, no, don't just snag it. You should have expensive equipment and software for that. They're like, I don't know. I think it introduced a little bit of artifacts. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, if somebody thinks they have cancer because we did something wrong, that's not appropriate. Like, you.
That was only for Snag at 7, though. 2 of us. All right.
For that.
Let's go on. Steve.
So I'd like somebody at TechSmith to tell me about the technical support email that ended up in everybody on the staff's mailbox with the preceding line that said, "Can you believe this one?"
You know I'm the one that has to answer this.
This is where that direct and honest part comes into play.
So, tech support has the sense to not always just all staff them, but they also know me, so they know I'm going to appreciate certain things that not everyone will appreciate. So I can't believe the way that people just have no sense of decency or barriers when they contact tech support. So they'll say, look, I'm having this trouble, and the person on tech support says, yeah, of course, why don't you send me a screenshot of whatever the problem is on your desktop? So they'll send them a screenshot of what their desktop looks like, and they don't worry about cleaning up what their desktop looks like at all. Go ahead and imagine what someone's desktop might have on it. Yes, that's what's on their desktop.
There are things you cannot unsee.
And then they go ahead and send that to me because they're like, "Can you believe this?" And I'm the one that gets.
And better yet, it's like, I'm having trouble scrolling this page. Could you go to this web page and try it?
That's absolutely happened. They'll be like, I can't seem to capture all, because there used to be a time in Snagit where one of the features we had was the ability to not just capture like a web page the way you think of it, where you just get the page, but it would actually go to a site and then take all of the images, like it would go to that page and then follow links on that page and get all the images off of those other pages, right? This has only one purpose.
Is that why you took it out?
Honestly.
I think we could have made a lot more money just on that one feature.
Really? So when people called with trouble with that and they called tech support, eventually tech support had to realize, well, what website? And if the people who were having trouble with it, like they obviously had no qualms about being like, yeah, this is the site I'm capturing, because they were already in for calling tech support. Like they knew that sooner or later they were like, yeah, this is the site, and the person at tech support had to be like, all right. Well, there's your answer. You know what? That's the answer you wanted, wasn't it?
So we haven't yet had the full tour of the office, but this seems to be a pretty awesome place to work and lots of cool toys around here. So I'm curious to hear what is the best toy in the office.
I think the toys that get used the most are actually our Legos. We sent out calendar Legos to a lot of our customers, and then we had everybody at TechSmith have them. And if you go on the tours, you will actually see Legos that go all the way to the ceiling, and they've made structures and leaning. And I would have to say that's probably one of the biggest ones that get played with constantly and just restructured across the building.
I can say we used to play soccer in one of our areas as the training team, because Anton was in there being European, of course, loves soccer. Go figure. We'd play full-on soccer. Sometimes tech support didn't like it because they were in the office next to us, and their soccer ball would hit the wall. So that was always fun.
We have a MakerBot, which is a 3D printer up front here, and it's broken.
Psych.
It's pretty cool when it works. But we just got this new room, a maker room, so we'll have a lot of Arduinos and hopefully a working MakerBot soon. But
well, go ahead, Paul.
And this isn't a toy per se, but one of our groups, the web development group, put together let's call it a half-ass ping pong table. But that's not what's cool. What's cool is they decided to invent their own game they called King Pong. I cannot follow the rules of King Pong. They've developed over time. They've developed over beer. But there's
And it's actually a rule you're not allowed to document the rules of King Pong. They must be verbally shared. So.
Right. There's bowling pins involved. If you get hit by things, that's very important and crucial to the game, trying to hit other people with the ball. And there's ducking, and there's this much
If
over
babies
that.
walk by, there's certain consequences.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Children are involved. What's that? There's ping pong balls, but then there are bowling pins involved as well. No. Well, I can make a suggestion. The bowling balls get added because they evolve over time. And that's maybe why I've never managed to pick up the rules.
All right, I'm gonna put the. Scott is looking a little awkward up there. We need some questions for Scott.
I don't have any of this corporate tribal knowledge. Now I'm getting worried.
But he's an expert. Let me tell you, he makes some great videos.
Paid to make Screencast.
That's right. So that's why. So he's an anomaly, of course, but just keep sitting up there. All right, David.
This is not for Scott, but it was tweeted out.
Thank you.
This was tweeted out today that they would pay big money for TechSmith gear. Is there a place to buy TechSmith wardrobe?
We do not have a store for TechSmith swag.
What are you talking about?
I'm sorry. We have a TechSmith store for software. We do not have it for swag, though, for T-shirts.
Is that only available to the TechSmith employees then? Because we do.
Yes. Are you talking about the internal store where you buy T-shirts?
No, like you can. There's like the Eddie Bauer thing, and you can. I'm sorry. There's the Eddie Bauer thing.
Yes, that's for TechSmithies.
That's lame.
I'm sorry. We sell software. We don't sell T-shirts.
No,
but
there isn't.
I like to give T-shirts away, so give them my Twitter name at Betsy Weber. I like to give away sporks too.
All right, so I do have a question for Steve. Scott, sorry. I was only partially paying attention.
Almost got out of it again.
I'm trying to help.
I've been called so many worse things. Steve is fine.
That guy, the not TechSmith guy. All right, so using Camtasia or any of the TechSmith products, can you share a time when if you had access to a developer or a TechSmith employee to shake because of a problem that you had?
Oh, because of a problem?
Yes, a pain point. Or a time. Let's take both a time that you'd want to shake a person because of a problem they had, and a problem that a situation that you want to hug them because of something that you ran into.
You know, I can tell you a true example, and Betsy, you might even remember this. We were doing a remote Skype recording, and Camtasia Mac wasn't working the way I expected it to. And I was with Terry Brock. Okay, I was with Terry Brock, and I know Betsy knows Terry. We're doing this Skype stuff, and I kid you not, I was like, and I did. Somehow or another, I think I might have emailed Troy, but 10 minutes later, I'm still on the Skype with Terry. Troy, got in, and we were working on the issues and figuring it out. And so it was great support, and I had just totally circumvented every protocol of support. I mean, I just went ahead and emailed right to the top, and it was taken care of. So, yeah, I wanted to strangle, but then after it was like, yeah, we got it fixed. So it was awesome. You probably remember that. Yeah.
All right. Two things. One, I have something I'd like to thank someone for, so I'd like to know who was pushing for having GIF animation supported in the latest release of Camtasia. I use it a lot. I'm that 0.2%. So thank you. Yeah, that's what I said. And in addition to that, I have a question for Sebastian. Sorry, Scott. No, as someone who doesn't get paid to make Screencast, I'd like to know if there was any kind of wisdom you can bestow on how to transition from being someone who is into making a Screencast to monetizing it in any way, any kind of way of getting paid to make Screencasts that you could share.
From wisdom, I don't know. from experience, I would say we have to just put ourselves out there. And I've talked with a lot of subject matter experts in all sorts of different fields. And one of the things that comes up is I'm scared to put myself out there. I'm scared to be on video. I don't want them to see me. What if they don't like me? And I tell them, you know what? If they don't like you after they see your video, they're not going to like you when they meet you, right? So just get over it and go ahead and beat the rush and you know, just put yourself out there, and then you don't have to worry about meeting them in person, right? But it's so true that I think people are afraid to make a mistake. They're afraid of failure. And my biggest, if you can call it wisdom, guys, just put yourself out there. Just do it. Yeah. Yep. Just get over it. So go for it.
Fail fast, learn quick. So, all right. Other questions? We have. Wait.
Yeah. So yeah, I can take the animated GIF one. We added that many years back, and we've just kind of kept it. So it's kind of funny because it's pretty unique. Animated GIF is only good for very, very short animations, but I've seen people, you know, take like a glass of wine. I saw this one guy took a glass of wine and took a drink, filmed himself doing that, turned that into an animated GIF, put it as his email signature, and so every person he sent emails to, they got him, you know, drinking this glass of wine. So I don't know.
He was just drunk.
He wanted everyone to know he's a drunk.
Right.
Maybe so, but it was one of the most creative uses of the animated GIF output that I had seen. So, animated GIF is one of the few formats that'll actually you can embed right in an email and it plays. So, anyway,
I've seen it used for Twitter, like icons instead of a picture. They have an animated GIF for a Twitter icon.
It's always scary when that happens. Like, why is it moving?
Right.
All right, next question. All right, because we can end anytime. Like, we're just done. No, I have a question for the panel. So it will be go for each of you. So in terms of screencasting, what is the thing that most excites you about the potential of screencasting? So whoever wants to go first can take that. I know.
I will. I truly think screencasting and digital communications can truly change the world. And if we get creative and we think about what we want to communicate and how we want to do it, any one of us could put together a screencast that can truly make a difference. You talked about, you know, yours. We can produce videos like that ourselves, and we've got the tools from a great company to do it. So it's just do it. Just put ourselves out there and try to make a difference. It's cool.
You don't follow.
That's a tough one to follow. I get really excited and I just feel really proud about what we do here whenever I see what you all do in the classroom for kids. So it's just really heartwarming to see lives changed by, you know, that knowledge transfer that can happen when you make use of screencasting and video, and it makes what I do worthwhile. So thank you.
I think I'm echoing what you guys are saying. I think that people are more motivated and engaged. They comprehend more when they are creating than when you are in sort of a one-way delivery kind of an environment. So it's one thing. So let's say you're trying to learn something, to just sit there and passively receive it, than when you actually get involved in a creation process. So I think that can be what screencasting is about, is turning people from this one-way receiving process to this, I'm going to be involved in the creation. And I'm hoping that we're creating tools that are easy enough and systems that are easy enough to use that everyone can get involved in that creation process. So that's the future I'm excited about, which is basically the same thing you guys are saying. Maybe we're being too utopian, but I don't think so.
So we got one more question. We're going to just take one or two more questions, and then we are going to wrap things up.
So I have a question for Sven. What's the biggest obstacle you face in getting buy-in from clients or other people you're working with to make screencasts?
Budget. They have to be able to pay for time, and it's our piece. And I think one of the challenges is and give ourselves away. It's worth, let's work together, to put your piece out there. But yeah, I think, particularly the last couple of years, flat out budget. That's a tough one.
We have time for about one more question. Someone maybe hasn't had a chance. Has anything? Anybody? Going once? Going twice? So Dave O'Rourke, MP4, AVI, QuickTime, go. Okay, wait, no, never mind. That's going to take too long. But you know what? Hang on, Dave.
He was all set.
I can't let him start because I'll never stop. But so this is for Dave. So in fact, we've been asking lots of questions. First of all, let's give everyone on the panel a round of applause. Excuse me while I text message. Okay, now I'm back. So it's our turn to give a little bit back. We have a very special day today. Someone gave up their day for you guys. It's his birthday, so I think we should probably sing to him. Dave O'Rourke, he's 19. He's like Doogie Howser. So, you want to lead, Paul? We have a ukulele? Who's going to play? Andrew, you're going to play? Yeah, we are. Heck yeah. Somebody record this so we could sell this. Okay, you guys ready? Tell us when you're ready, Andrea, because I can't conduct.
All right, so I think this is what it starts on.
Birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Dave. Happy birthday to you. So everyone, thank you. We, from TechSmith, if I can be just represent for a second. We can't do Screencast Camp without you guys. We get so much from you being here, and we really appreciate you taking time out of your busy lives and schedules. Hopefully you guys are walking away with lots of information, knowledge, inspiration, and you're going to be able to take this back and do amazing things. To echo what the panel said, there's amazing things to be done with screencasting, and there's lots of things that we can do to make education, corporate environments better. It's about using our creativity and putting our skills to work and developing those skills so we can be better. So first of all, you guys are awesome for being here. I've heard so many amazing things already, and we got a whole nother day to fill our brains and walk away like, how am I going to do this all? And it'll be great. It will be really great. So thank you guys for being here. You are awesome. So I think that's applause moment.